Hey everyone, welcome back to Genai's F1 News. Let's start with George Russell and Mercedes, because there's a lot to unpack from the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. According to motorsport.com, Russell managed to salvage a second-place finish at his home race, which was an emotional moment for the British driver. He reflected on visiting Silverstone as an 11-year-old and how standing on that podium completed a personal journey. But here's where things get complicated. While Russell was celebrating that result, Mercedes discovered a serious issue. As reported by motorsport.com, the team is now investigating a top speed problem that held Russell back during qualifying. He was nearly 4/10 down on his teammate Kimi Antonelli, losing most of that time on the hangar straight where Antonelli was around 6 km/h faster. Team principal Toto Wolff confirmed Mercedes is looking into what went wrong with Russell's car setup. And looking ahead, Russell has another reason to feel the pain. According to motorsport.com, the Mercedes driver joked that his memories of the 2024 Belgian Grand Prix will stick with him until his deathbed. That's because he was disqualified after a brilliant victory 2 years ago, so heading back to Spa-Francorchamps this season carries some baggage for the British star. Now let's talk about the winner of the British Grand Prix, because Charles Leclerc's victory carries major significance for the championship fight. According to motorsport.com, Leclerc claimed his first win of the 2026 season with what felt like a relief more than just a celebration. The Monégasque driver had been searching for answers after losing confidence in his Ferrari following some setup changes. Motorsport.com reports that Leclerc actually made a steering wheel software change for the first time since joining the Scuderia, which shows just how serious Ferrari was about solving their issues. That victory signals that Ferrari is back in contention. According to multiple reports from motorsport.com, team principal Toto Wolff at Mercedes is now expecting Ferrari to remain a strong challenge for the rest of the 2026 season. This comes after Ferrari brought a substantial upgrade package that narrowed the gap significantly. And here's a thought from the paddock. Former Ferrari race engineer Rob Smedley, speaking to motorsport.com, believes the team might need to prioritize 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton over Leclerc if they want to win the Drivers' Championship. That's a big statement about Ferrari's current situation. So about that British Grand Prix finish, it's got people talking, and not in a good way. According to Autosport, the race ended under safety car conditions after Max Verstappen crashed at Stowe Corner with 6 laps remaining. While Leclerc took the victory, the Silverstone crowd actually booed because the exciting battle was cut short. Now, legendary former F1 driver Martin Brundle has weighed in. As reported by motorsport.com, Brundle is proposing 3 specific fixes to the FIA's safety car regulations to avoid these anticlimactic endings. He's basically saying the current system needs an overhaul. Former Alpine team principal Otmar Safnauer took it a step further, telling motorsport.com that the FIA missed a prime opportunity and should have red-flagged the race to give drivers a chance to restart and battle it out properly. The question now is, will the FIA listen and make changes, or will we continue seeing races decided by procedure rather than pure racing? It's a debate that's going to continue as the season progresses. Here's something technical that's caught the FIA's attention. According to Autosport, after Max Verstappen's crash at Silverstone, the FIA has launched an investigation into the rotating rear wings being used by both Red Bull and Ferrari. They're being called the Macarena wing because of how they move. Motorsport.com reports that the governing body has requested additional information from both teams about this specific technical solution. Red Bull already launched its own internal investigation into Verstappen's crash, with team principal Laurent Mekies insisting they would leave no stone unturned. Now the FIA is asking questions too. This could be significant because if the FIA determines the rotating wing design played a role in the incident or violates regulations, we could see major changes coming. The technical regulations in 2026 are already complex enough, so the last thing these teams need is a mid-season rule change. Keep an eye on this one. It could develop into something substantial as the season continues. Let's shift gears and look at the bigger picture for Red Bull Racing. 1 year ago today, something shocking happened in Formula One. Christian Horner was sacked as Red Bull's team principal after 20 years in charge. That's a massive deal. According to motorsport.com, Horner's removal came after a protracted political battle within Red Bull, ending 2 dominant title-winning dynasties. In came Laurent Mekies to take over the leadership role. So how has Red Bull done a year later? The reports from both motorsport.com and Autosport indicate the team enjoyed a resurgence in 2025, with Max Verstappen coming within just 2 points of winning a 5th world championship. The team also began its new era with the Red Bull-Ford powertrains partnership. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. There have been bumps along the way. Still, for a team that faced such a dramatic leadership change, the recovery has been pretty impressive. Now we're into 2026 with the new hybrid regulations. And based on what we're seeing this season, Red Bull is struggling a bit with the electrical side of the new power unit, particularly at energy-starved circuits like Silverstone, where they didn't have their best showing. But the foundation that Mekies and the team have built appears solid. So we need to talk about something that's becoming a real issue in 2026. The technical complexity is creating a massive advantage for factory teams. According to Autosport, while the FIA guarantees customer F1 teams access to the same power unit specification as the works outfit, the actual complexity of these new systems puts experience at the forefront. The difference isn't in the hardware anymore. It's in how effectively teams can exploit it. McLaren's Mercedes partnership is a perfect example of this dynamic. And here's Fernando Alonso's hot take on the situation. As reported by motorsport.com, the two-time world champion has launched another scathing review of the 2026 regulations, claiming no driver talent is actually needed with these cars. That's a harsh criticism, but it reflects the sentiment that the technical side of F1 has become overwhelming. Alonso's point is that the regulations have shifted so much toward managing complex hybrid systems that pure driving ability has taken a back seat. Whether you agree with him or not, there's clearly a legitimate concern about the current direction of the sport, especially for customer teams trying to compete against factory operations with deeper resources and more engineering expertise. Now let's dive into Red Bull's specific technical challenges with their new power unit. According to Autosport, although Red Bull topped the initial internal combustion engine rankings in 2026, partly due to how manufacturers chose to run their power units in the opening races, the newcomer still appears to be lacking on the electrical side. And according to Max Verstappen, as reported by Autosport, this problem becomes particularly apparent at energy-starved circuits where energy management is critical. Silverstone is one of those circuits, which is why Verstappen struggled there. Looking ahead, as reported by motorsport.com, Red Bull and Verstappen should expect the same challenges at Spa-Francorchamps because it's another high-speed circuit where energy management plays a huge role. This is going to be a recurring theme for Red Bull and their Ford powertrains partnership as the season progresses. The team needs to find a way to improve the electrical system performance, especially heading into circuits that demand precise energy harvesting and deployment. It's a technical challenge that could define Red Bull's season if they can't solve it quickly. Finally, let's talk about Kimi Antonelli because the 19-year-old championship leader had a really tough day at Silverstone. According to motorsport.com, Antonelli finished 15th after a bruising British Grand Prix, and the incident reveals something important about his journey in F1. Former F1 driver and Sky Sports analyst Martin Brundle highlighted a communication breakdown that derailed Antonelli's charge for victory, as reported by motorsport.com. Brundle's analysis suggests this was a harsh but necessary learning experience for the young Mercedes driver. And here's an interesting observation from Otmar Safnauer, the former Alpine team principal, who told motorsport.com that Antonelli needs to learn how to manage a compromised car if he wants to secure championships. Safnauer drew comparisons to Michael Schumacher's ability to nurse damaged machinery through a race. That's a big lesson for a rookie. Despite leading the championship standings, Antonelli is facing real adversity, and how he responds over the next few races will tell us a lot about his championship credentials. He's clearly got the pace. Now he needs to develop the Rasa craft and mental resilience that separates champions from the rest.